Let's create an easy masculine card with a twist you might not expect. Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley here for Altenew. Thanks for joining me today. Today we are going to create an easy masculine card that's perfect for any celebration, and I am mixing some old and new Altenew products together to create this card. Now, the newer product that I'm featuring is the brand new Timeless Sentiments 2 die set. These large sentiment dies make for a perfect focal point. I'll also be using an oldie but goodie, and this is the Label Love stamp set. I've had this in my stash for years, and I love it. You can see it's well loved. And finally, I'll be using the Scallops Cover Die. I love this. Now, this could go kind of masculine or feminine, but we're going to push it over onto the masculine side today with our color palette. Now, I'm going to start by die cutting the Scallops Cover Die from some Classic Crest cardstock. This is a white cardstock, and I am actually going to die cut this a couple of times from this white cardstock. I did end up adding my metal shim into my die cutting sandwich here because this is a little bit more on the intricate or delicate side, and that helped me get a really nice clean cut. But I will just kind of smack my die on my work surface here. That's kind of my little cheater method of getting some of the extra pieces out. And you can see I have this beautiful background. Now I want this to have a little bit of dimension and depth. So I die cut it a second time from some white cardstock. And then I'm going to die cut it a third time from the brushed metallic gold cardstock from Altenew. This is going to give my card a little bit of shine, and I think it just kind of elevates the look of that Scallops Cover Die. This really will give it a more elegant look, but if you wanted to keep it more on the casual side, you could definitely go with the plain white cardstock. It looks beautiful as well. But when it's cut from this gold cardstock, I'm just getting all the Art Deco vibes. I mean, can you see it here? I love the look of this. Now, eventually I'm going to stack all these up, but before I do that, I'm going to do some more die cutting. I am using the Celebrate Word die from the Timeless Sentiments 2 die set, and I'm die cutting that once again from the brushed metallic gold cardstock. You can see it kind of stuck onto my cutting plate here, but I'm just using a craft knife to gently lift that off. And I will die cut this word die a couple of more times from some white cardstock to give it some dimension. I am all about the dimension, and I'm all about the shine too, so we're going to have both of those things on this card. Now for the shadow die of the Celebrate Word, I've die cut that from some white cardstock. And before I move on, I'm going to start by adding some liquid glue and stacking up all of the die cuts that I've created. This is going to give dimension, and it also really does give a depth to the card. It kind of creates some shadow, and I really love that look on a card. I'm not afraid of a little dimension, even if it means I have to hand deliver or pay a little extra for postage. But you can skip some of these layers if you choose. Now I have two plain white Celebrate die cuts stacked up behind that brushed metallic gold cardstock. And for this Scallops Cover Die, this is obviously a little bit more tricky to get the liquid glue on. I'm just using a fine tip glue bottle and just kind of dotting it all over the back and then adding a thin line around the edge of the die cut. Now, if you wanted to make this a little quicker, you could use like a spray glue or something like that. But once I have some liquid adhesive on the back of that, I'm going to line it up with one of the layers that I've die cut from that white cardstock and just kind of use my fingers to press all of those layers together and get them lined up. Now, once I have all three of the layers adhered together, I'm going to set that aside and allow it to dry, and I'm bringing in my stamp wheel. I'm going to do some ink blending, and my stamp wheel, the little photopolymer grid in that, is going to help keep my cardstock and my ink pad in place while I do some ink blending. I have chosen Pool, Galactic Stream, and Navy inks, and I'm going to blend onto this panel. Now, this is going to serve as the backdrop for that beautiful metallic die cut background that we created earlier. And I'm starting with one of the large blending brushes, and I like to use the large blending brush in this particular instance because I can cover a lot of area in a short amount of time. So I'm just adding a layer of that pool colored ink to the very bottom of this white cardstock. And once I have a good layer of that down, I'm going to go ahead and switch out to the Galactic Stream ink, and I'm going to bring that in kind of on the middle of this cardstock. Now, this is a more intense ink, and because I want the blend to be a little softer between the colors, I'm going to tap off quite a bit of that ink onto my work surface before I take it over to my cardstock. That's going to allow me to kind of control the intensity of the ink that I'm getting and kind of build the blend rather than kind of come in really intense. Now, keep in mind when you're ink blending, you can always add more ink, but you can't take it away. So it's a good idea to kind of go in a little softer handed than you might want to begin with, and you can build that up over time. So once I have the Galactic Stream laid down onto my white cardstock, I went ahead and took that all the way to the top. I'm going to bring in the navy colored ink, and I'm going to add this along the top part of this cardstock. I actually end up rotating this, so the top that you're seeing here becomes the bottom later on. But I just blended it in this way, so we're just going with it for now. Now I'm going to build up that navy ink because I really wanted it to be super intense at the top. But once I got that blended, I really wanted a little more contrast towards the top of this card panel. So I'm going to bring in some jet black fresh dye ink, and I'm going to blend this on with a smaller blending brush. And the reason I'm doing that is control. Now, the smaller the blending brush, the more control you're going to have over where you put the ink. And I really just wanted a small band of this at the top to really set off that edge. And you're going to see the difference that this little bit of black ink really makes along the top of this card panel. It just brings the intensity and the drama up just a little bit. I don't want this to cover a large area of my card. I just really want it to hit that edge. So I'm just adding a little bit with my mini blending brush here. Now, once I'm done with my ink blending, I'm going to go ahead and remove that panel from the photopolymer sticky grid mat that is in my stamp wheel, and I'm going to clean it with a little bit of stamp cleaner. This is made from the exact same material that your photopolymer stamps are made from, so you can use the exact same cleaner that you use on those to clean this base part of your stamp wheel. And now it's ready to go for some stamping. So I'm going to use this happy birthday stamp from the Label Love stamp set. I've got it mounted on to the flip plate of my stamp wheel, and I'm going to ink it up with some pool ink. But I really wanted kind of an ombre look on this more solid sentiment. So I'm going to bring in a little bit of Galactic Stream on the edge of this stamped greeting here, and I'm just blending it on with a little bit of a blending brush. So I'm not swirling or swiping, I'm tapping it on, and then I'll flip my flip plate over and stamp this onto some white cardstock. Now I wanted to kind of smooth out the seam, what I would call the seam. There's no seam, but the line between those two colors of ink. And so I flipped this back over. I inked up the entire thing with the pool ink once again, and I'm going to flip this over. No ombre on this one, just solid pool ink. I'm going to flip it over and stamp it again, and that kind of evens everything out, softens that edge, and gives me a really nice stamped image. Now I'm going to take this over to my paper trimmer, and I'm going to trim this down right along the edge of that stamped border. And now I'm ready to kind of start the card assembly with a little bit of a twist. So I'm starting by creating my card base. This is a piece of white cardstock that measures 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And you can see my scoring board has that nice star where I need to score my card base. So I went ahead and did that and folded my card base and created a nice crease line there. Then I added some adhesive runner to the back of this blended panel that I created and placed it onto my card base there. Then I'm going to flip my scallop background over that I created, add some liquid glue to the back of that, and watch how this just pops off of that ink blended background. It is so beautiful. This right here is giving total mermaid vibes. This would be so amazing with a layer of glitter over it too, or that little Scallops Cover Die cut from some glitter cardstock. So beautiful. But for now, we're going to keep it more on the masculine side, so we're going to keep moving. Now I have a die cut circle here, and I am scoring it using my scoring board at 1/4 of an inch and 3/8 of an inch. So that 1/4 inch and then one more line over. I'm going to fold on those score lines, and we're creating kind of a modified tri-fold card here. I'm going to really reinforce those and make sure that my creases are really nice. But the reason I did a gap between those is so that I could attach this circle to the back side of my card and have it as kind of an opening mechanism. And you're going to see what I'm talking about here. So as I mentioned, it's going to create kind of a modified or a different version of a tri-fold card. Now, to add a little more sparkle and shine to this card, but keeping it on the masculine side, I've grabbed some of the metallic thread and I've twisted it around my fingers and laid it on top of my circle. Then I'm going to take my two sentiments here, the die cut and the stamp sentiment, and adhere it right over the top using some foam adhesive. Now I'm going to take that little tab that I created with my fold lines. I'm going to add some liquid glue just to that small tab, and I'm going to adhere this to the back side of my folded card base. And that's going to give me a tri-fold card here with that shape on the front. And the really cool part about this is you could create this fun fold with any basic die cut shape that you have. This creates a fun little twist that you might not expect otherwise, but look at this beautiful masculine card with just that bit of shine that kind of elevates it and makes it feel really special. And the great thing about this design with that celebrate word is you really could use it for any celebratory occasion, a retirement, a birthday, even a graduation, and you could blend the colors on the background using the school colors. It would be absolutely fabulous. Now, if you're looking for the supplies used in this video tutorial, be sure to check the description at YouTube or head on over to the Altenew blog where I will have more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies. Don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on those notifications here so you don't miss any of our paper crafting and card making video tutorials. I'm Carissa Wiley for Altenew, and thanks for joining me today.
Hello there! Did that video just spark your creativity? And do you want more project ideas and inspiration videos too? Well, if you do, please make sure that you subscribe to the Altenew YouTube channel. Also, make sure that you do click that notification bell so you don't miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye bye!